Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Average Player here, back with another video. Alright, so first things first, Salamangreats. Second thing, we're going to go over a couple things real quick. First thing, deck profile. Always doing a deck profile. Second thing, if you guys want something different, let me know down in the comments. Third thing, when we get to 100 subs, I will do a face reveal. And then we're probably gonna at like 250 gonna do a setup reveal of just like where I record in just recording area, and then probably 500 where we're probably gonna do, I don't know, probably gonna do a mixture of probably master duels or something like that. And then we get to 1,000, it's gonna be the whole setup video, and probably gonna do a giveaway about then. So again, subscribe so you guys can be a part of that. Always turn on the notification bell so you know my videos go live, and let's actually get into this deck profile. So, Salamangreats, this is most recent from my locals yesterday. I went 2-1. We were supposed to have 4 rounds, but we ended up having a bye for one of them. I did not take part in a bye, so I played both rounds. So this deck profile is what I played yesterday, except I made one little change, and I'm, generally, we'll just get to that change when we get to it, but, it's going to be side deck, extra deck, main deck, but it's going the other way. We're going to be starting off with the main deck first. Alright, 1, Salamangreat Gazelle, because the card is only at 1, you only play 1, or else you'd play 3, because this card's amazing. If you guys saw my ban list prediction, I predicted him to come to 2, but not if Circle goes to 2. Next, you play 2 Foxy. You can definitely play 3 of this. You can cut down something, probably. You could probably cut out a card coming up, Salamangreat Foxer, for a 3rd Foxy, and it wouldn't hurt anything. If anything, it'd probably help out the deck a little bit more. But for this deck, you mostly just want to pound out cards and get your combo going. Next is 3 copies of Spinny. So Spinny is one of your main extenders. Especially if you have Gazelle in your hand, you discard Spinny, Gazelle procs. Spinny's in the grave, so it's an extender, and you can get your plays going again. Alright. Next, now for the rest of Salamangreat cards. 1 Falco. Basically, return a card on the field to your hand, a Salamangreat monster. Special summon it. If it's sent to the graveyard, set a Salamangreat spell or trap from your graveyard to your side of the field. Jack Jaguar, return a Salamangreat monster from your graveyard to your deck or extra deck. Special summon this card to a Zone Link monster points too. You can definitely play this card at 2. The same way I said that you could play Foxy at 3 by taking out your Foxer. But the next card, it has to be played, is Foul. So Foul, for anybody who doesn't know, special summons itself when a Salamangreat monster is normal or special summoned. And for the weird ones, Foxer, if she's in your hand and you have 3 or more Salamangreats in your graveyard, you can discard her, destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Then, if she's in the graveyard when a spell or trap card is destroyed, she special summons herself, so she kind of procs off of herself. I think it's kind of unique, and some decks are mostly getting back row heavy nowadays, like Flues and stuff like that, so it's really helpful. Alright. That's it for the salads. Next is the cards that are starters but not Salamangreat. I'm playing 2 copies of Lady Debug. This card could probably easily be cut down to 1 as well for a Foxy. The disadvantage of this card is it's not fire. It's basically like playing your 4th and 5th copy of Signet Mining, but it's still, if this card was fire, it'd be way better. You'd probably play this card at 3 because it does give you access to Sunlight Wolf, and most of your extra deck monsters for Salamangreats are requiring fire monsters. But since this is mostly a starter and used for Phalanx, you're not really worried about it. And the next 2 cards are Flame Buffalo. You play 2 copies of Flame Buffalo. In my opinion, it's better than Debug because of its synergy with the rest of the deck. But Flame Buffalo, discard a card. Cybers, draw 2 cards. Flame Buffalo is better, in my opinion, as well, because you can use it in Chain Link with Banelink. So you link away Buffalo for Banelings. You can whatever you want to get, because you can chain 2 Buffalo, chain 1 Banelings, or opposite. Your opponent has to respond to 1. They would probably much rather respond to, if you chain 2 Banelings, chain 1 Buffalo, they would most likely much rather have you not draw 2 than add 1 card from your deck to hand. So if you add the card from the deck to your hand. Your opponent has to respond to that first before they can respond to your other thing, which they can't respond to that because you chained to your own card. But next is your extenders. 1 copy is Sea Archiver. So if you special summon a Link monster, no, if you special summon to a zone Link monster points to, my bad. He special summons himself from your hand or graveyard for free. Good. Backup Secretary. If you control a Cybers monster, special summons herself for free. And Parallel Exceed. When you summon a Link monster, he special summons himself, which in its own is actually part of a chain, because since you chain this and this to this is a trigger effect, but this it's a trigger effect, but it's an X effect that you can use as a chain to kind of chain block using itself. It's unique. So basically it summons itself, and then you can chain to summon one from deck. So your opponent has to respond to the summoning from deck and not the summon of the one from your hand. So you're always guaranteed to have one out if you have more than 1 copy. So I would actually recommend playing this at 2 if you can play 2. Again, you would cut out Foxer, or you would cut out Lady Debug. Next, we're playing hand traps. We are playing 8 in total. 3 copies of Ash. Still one of the best hand traps in the game right now. Not the best, but for what I play against at my locals, it is probably the best hand trap in here, besides Imperm, but we're getting to there. 3 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, because Ghost Bell, you know, generally people don't play this, but try. I play against a lot of Tri Brigade. I play against a lot of decks that do stuff from the graveyard. Ghost Bell shuts it off, and it's great. So this is actually me going off my first deck profile that I ever made. Checked it out. But it's a little bit different and changed, because I'm in this deck profile playing 2 Infinite Impermanence instead of 2 Effect Veiler. Imperm's better than Veiler, because it has that unique ability. If it's set, it negates a whole column of spell and trap cards. So, yep. Next, we're going into the next little package. I say package because it's the Dragoon package. I know I'm a degenerate. Because obviously we're playing Verte Anaconda. Next, you're playing 1 copy of Circle. This is for Salamangreat spells and traps. 1 copy of Will, and 1 copy of Sanctuary. Sanctuary and Will, you don't play these cards at more than 1, because they are absolute bricks in your hand. Because Will just allows you to special summon, and special summon based off a link rating, and Sanctuary allows you to link summon using a monster with its own name. If Circle did come back, you would play that card at multiples. Next is a must-have, the 3 copies of Sign Up Mining. As someone pointed out in my last Salamangreat deck profile, yes, they are all different rare, super, ultra secret. So, yeah, Sign Up Mining, discard 1 card, add a Cybers monster from your deck to your hand, level 4 lore. Alright, next, Upstart Goblin, Foolish, and Called by the Grave. Alright, Upstart, draw 1 card, opponent gains 1,000, everybody knows what Foolish does, and Called by the Grave, it's so good, because it's limited to 1, so why not have it be good? Next, for your Salamangreat traps, you're playing 2 Roar. Again, this is the same boat as your Will and Sanctuary. You don't want to see this card, but if somehow you're in the grind game and you basically want to get your opponent's negates off, or negate your opponent's cards, your 1 Roar, if you can't get another Sunlight Wolf out, you can only link summon again once to a Salamangreat monster. Your Roar can set itself, so if you need for a little bit later on in the game to have another Roar, that's why you play 2. You can play 1, but I recommend 2. And then Salamangreat Rage is your last one. This one, if you were to play Roar at 1, you could play Rage at 2, but whatever, because Rage is also really good in today's metagame because it pops cards on the field. And it doesn't even target, so which is amazing, because most cards nowadays that are boss monsters can't be targeted. And now for a trap card that most likely needs to get banned, Imperial Order. I didn't say this card needed to get banned in my ban list prediction video, but I can see it getting banned. Sorry about that. Adjusting the camera. All right. Next, this is what I'm going to say that you guys are going to think that it's dumb, but you're going to have to hear out my explanation for this. I only play 2 copies of Salamangreat Banelinks. Now, you would generally play 3 in most deck profiles. But why would you want to play 3 when you're playing this deck? It's a combo deck. You play 3, it's basically taking up your whole extra deck, unless your opponent negates one, and then you have one for a starter later on. That's it for 2. You generally really don't see this card. This deck and the way it plays, and with your opponents, it generally does not make it past like the first 5 turns. So you're generally not going to go into Banelinks again. With the boards you're making in this deck, it's probably going to be 2-3 turns and the game's over. You're generally not going to view Banelinks. But the next card is the card you generally want to play the 3 of, which is going to be Sunlight Wolf. 3 copies. Sunlight Wolf is so good because if a monster summoned to a zone he points to, doesn't matter which person does it, you or your opponent. Add a fire monster to your deck to hand, which you can Ash Blossom or any of your Salamangreat cards from your deck, or not your deck, from your graveyard to your hand. And then if he's Link Summon using his own name, he can set a Salamangreat spell trap from your deck to your hand. So if you want to play that game to where you basically have your opponent at the point of you have to have a negate to stop them, just Link. If you have Jack Jaguar in your graveyard, return Sunlight Wolf to your extra deck. Sunlight Wolf for Sunlight Wolf, set Roar. So you don't have to use your Roar's ability to just do that and set itself, because you actually have to Link Summon for a Salamangreat monster. And it requires less materials. It just requires that 1 card. So that's why I play Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf at 3. In my opinion, it's better for the grind game. Next is the Heat Leo. Played that at 1. You could play that at 2 if you really wanted to. If it's Link Summon using its own name, it gets to blow up a spell. If it's Link Summon using its own name, target monster, your opponent controls monster in graveyard, attacks change, but mostly when it's Link Summoned, it blows up a spell or trap card on the field. So it has its own synergy with other cards. Alright, next is Next is all the Link monsters you're going to play that aren't Salamangreats. So Update Jammer, because that allows you to attack twice and basically hit for game in 95% of the instances. And this is the card I took out for in place of Banelinks with Splash Mage. There's times where I felt like I needed, something just in case in Nibiru. And it is this next card, but it could also be Splash Mage, because if I get hit with a Nibiru and I'm only able to get 2 monsters out, instead of hitting Verte Anaconda on the field, which is the next card, I can summon Splash Mage, and it's basically, if Verte Anaconda gets hit, Banelinks, you're just going back in the extra deck. But Splash Mage, you make that, summon another one from your graveyard, make your next card, which is Transcode Talker, and Transcode Talker to special summon something back from your graveyard, and hopefully it's something that points to it. So you're probably going to do Update Jammer, say that got hit or whatever, off of Nibiru. Do that. Now you got a 2800 attack monster and a 2500 attack monster, and neither of them can be targeted. But generally, next card, Borlo Dragon. That's what you're going to try to do, is make Borlo Dragon that can attack twice. And it can only attack twice this turn, but Borlo Dragon, trust me, doesn't really matter. You swing, steal your opponent's monster. Swing, steal your opponent's monster. It can't attack after that, I don't think, but still, if your opponent has just 1 monster on the field, even if it's whatever, and it doesn't even target, it just absorbs. It comes to a zone he points to, so if he's the only guy in the field, or if he's the only guy on either side of him, you swing, take, and then next thing you know, your opponent's looking at not only getting swung at with their own monsters, but it's your card until the end of their next turn. So if they can't do anything by the time that happens, you basically won the game. Next EXCs only played 3. Obviously, the one copy Mirage Stalio. I'd like to see him come back to more than that, but he really has only played at 1 anyway, so there's no point. Baguska, you do make Baguska quite a bit, especially if you want to have that, if you don't want to get your Dragoon out, you make Baguska and you sit on it. Watching your opponent not be able to do anything for monster effects is great, at least on the field. So, yeah. Next is Zeus. If you guys hear paper crumpling, it's my cat in a bag. Next is Zeus, because when your Baguska basically uses up its usefulness and its last material is gone, second turn later, switch it to attack mode. It can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target its attack position card with card effects. So basically just swing at something. And if you win, next thing you know, you got Zeus on the field. So your useless Baguska is now turning into Zeus. Even though you're going to say that Zeus doesn't have any materials, that Zeus's effect can happen on either player's turn to just absorb something, and then you just can knock off Zeus like that. So Zeus can then use its ability, detach 2, yada yada yada, nuke the board. Next card is, as you guys probably guessed, Dragoon. Yeah, this is only possible because of Verte Anaconda. You would not play Red Ice Fusion in any deck just to play it. It's not as good as Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is way better. Next to side deck. I always do side decks in my videos. It is way optional. You don't have to play the side deck this way, but yeah. So this is my side deck. It generally does not change at all. 3 Judgment. Judgment's better than Strike. There's no arguing that. Everybody knows that. Judgment negates any summon and then a spell or trap card. So, it's your opponent Fusion Destiny's no DPE. Your opponent normal summons, it's gone. Your opponent special summons anything, it's gone. So, yep. And then next is Dimensional Barrier. Dimensional Barrier is good. The only thing it doesn't stop is links. Just declare 1 card type. Fusion Synchro, XC, Link, or Pendulum. Neither player can special summon monsters declared type. It shuts down Lyrilisc. If your opponent's playing pure Lyrilisc, XC's a lot. So they're stuck into trying to do Tri-Brigade, Link monsters. And not really much else. It shuts down doesn't really shut down Salads, but Frogs, decimates Frogs. It decimates Sharks, anything that uses XCs or anything like that. It decimates should all invoked Dogmatica, decimates that too. So those are it for the traps, at least for the side deck. Next is the monsters, and I only play this in my side deck. These few monsters, generally because of Crossout Designator. But this isn't the only monster. 3 Nib. Look at that original copy Nib. Nib is the card I play because of Crossout Designator. Even though if I am playing against somebody who's playing Tri-Brigade or playing something that's really combo heavy, I really don't need Crossout Designator. I can just put in Nib, especially since some of the hand traps don't work against certain decks that I have. So say like Ghost Spell don't work, but I can Nib you. Trade out those 3 Ghost Spell for 3 Nib, because Ash works at basically any deck. Imperial Infinite Impermanence works against any deck. Ghost Spell doesn't generally work against every deck, so there's Nib, and then Gamshiel. That does work against every deck. Your opponent's Problematic Moss Monster, get the hell out of here. That thing's garbage. Gamshiel is the way to go. Tribute that shit off. They're getting a free monster, but their boss monsters no more. So I like this card. Next is the big boy. I was just talking about Crossout Designator. I do play it because of Nibiru. If you're wondering what cards I would take out for Crossout Designator, when I did play against Lyrilisc Tri-Brigade, because I was going first, I did take out my Ghost Spells. I took out 2 Ghost Spells just for 1 Crossout Designator and 1 Nib. I knew I kind of needed that Ghost Spell just in case. But that's generally what I would do. But any other case scenario would be generally the, 2 Crossout Designator. I'd take out, if I'm going second, I'd take out Foxer. I'd take out Imperial Order. Put in both my Crossout Designators. Take out the 3 Ghost Spell and put in the Nibiru. Next is Lightning Storm. You never know when you're going to need this card. Back row heavy decks, Quiver in Fear unless they're playing Imperial Order. And then monster heavy decks, basically crushed. I don't have a card to combine with that. It would be generally be Dark Ruler no more. Dark Ruler no more. Lightning Storm. Your opponent's basically going to quit the game. Next is Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster is super good for clearing out back row heavy decks. That's why I play it. Because, like I said, decks in this format seem to be a lot more back row heavy than others. So, yeah, so that's it for the deck profile. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if you want to see a combo tutorial, please drop a like. And one thing I have noticed in one of my previous videos, I did mention that we should get one of my videos to 20 likes, and I will bring you guys to my locals. I will literally strap my camera mount to me, and I will bring you guys along for the ride to go to my locals, and I will record that. And then when I come back home, I will do a voiceover on it. So, again, on one of my videos, it's 1 like away. I said 20 likes, one of them's at 19. And one of the guys you will see there is actually another fellow YouTuber. His name is Matt. His tag is MadMatt9955, and I will link his channel down in the description. So go sub to him. Let him know that Zach sent you. He knows who I am. We are actually planning on doing some collabs here soon. Don't be surprised if a video releases either tomorrow or the next day of a collab in between me and him, because we do like to play a lot and we generally just hang out a lot and play together. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope everybody has a good day. Stay healthy. Drink some Arizona. Do something. Love your mama. Love your cat. My cat's cute, so she gets all the love in the world. But anyway, see ya.